Here we are. Welcome back to Think Rugby podcast, episode number 10. Well. Here comes upon us is the Autumn Nation series. It's been a long time coming. I've been very excited. I'm sure you have too, Andy Mo. Before we begin, don't forget to follow us on all our socials, on TikTok, on Twitter, or X should we call it, and also subscribe down below on YouTube. Get involved, leave a comment, leave a like on the video. So today, what we're going to be doing today, Andy?
Well, we're going to be covering our games for the upcoming Autumn Nation series. I have also been very excited, looking forward to this. It's good having a World Cup every 4 years, but I also like November internationals.
Yeah, no, exactly. We were just having that conversation just off screen about how actually good it is over November. Not a lot really happens just in life really. So it's actually nice that you've got the three, or in Scotland's case, 4 games to watch and kind of enjoy. Hopefully enjoy them. Let's touch wood that we do and with is favourable results. Looking at the teams we've got though, it should be at least 50% you would like to think 3 out of 4 games we will have great success with, but we'll get into that later in the video. Before we start though, guess who? Now Andy, you are down by 6 points. I'm winning 23 points to 17, so you've got to have an absolute... you can't have another shit show like you did the last couple of weeks, and you've got to close that. Yeah, I'm starting to drag away a bit. I think once we reach 50 points, the first 50 points, there'll be a consequence. I think we'll do it like that. Also been going on for ages, and maybe the gap was open further and further up. But you might prove me wrong today. Do you want me to go first? Will you go first?
I'll go first since you went first last time. So, my person, they were born on the 7th of March 1977, making them 47 years old.
Okay. Brian Driscoll.
Incorrect. Clue number 2 rather, I have been inducted into the World Rugby Hall of Fame.
Is that all I'm getting, or am I getting how recent it was?
That's just...
That's fine. I will go for Richie McCaw.
Incorrect. Clue number 3. I played in both the amateur and the professional era.
Ucha. Does make sense, but that's a fucking tough one. So you're 47, that's all I'm really basing it off just now, is you're 47.
Also, if you were born in 77, the game went professional in 85.
Yeah.
So then 20 when the game went pro.
Bloody hell. I think he's maybe this kind of age. Jonah Lumu.
Incorrect. R.I.P. Jonah Lumu.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Clue number 4. As a player, my greatest achievement was a Grand Slam in 2009, Six Nations, and that's it, yeah.
Great, 2009. Right, well, who would have won it then? Not Scotland, anyway, or Italy.
We are reigning defending 5 nation champions. Just that's what we need to tell folk.
Yeah. We're the most recent ones. Okay, this is a tricky one. You've not stitched me up. Maybe I'm just kind of missing a trick here. So you're 47 years old. So you're introduced into the Hall of Fame. You played in the amateur and the
professional era,
and you won the Grand Slam in 2009. Oh, was that the year that Ireland won the Grand Slam with the last kick of the game? The drop goal from O'Gara. I think it was 2008 or 2009. Could have been either of them, to be fair. Paul O'Connell.
Incorrect.
One more point.
Yeah, I think you'll get it now. Number 5. I am currently head coach of La Rochelle.
Did I not say that one? Fuck! It's Ronan Nagara, is it? Yeah, it's Ronan Nagara.
Ronan O'Gara.
Did I not literally just mention his name 2 seconds ago? With the
When
drop
you said
kick.
that, yeah. A drop
Fuck.
ball from O'Gara.
Oh my god. Hey, well, at least I'm kind of showing my ball knowledge there. 1 point for Zavi. Oh well, so that leaves me with 24. At least it's a point to take over. I did think him quite early on, but once again, I don't know. Oh well, never mind. Right, so 24 points, Andy. You can't overtake me this week, but you can certainly claw it back with a few points to make it even more close. Okay, clue number 1. I was born on the 15th of October, 1991. So means I'm 33 years old. I'm 5 foot and 11 inches tall, weighing 102 kilos.
Say that again, sorry. 15th October 91.
Yeah, so
Making
means
him
you're
31.
33.
33, my bad. Bad maths.
5 foot 11, so you're just short of 6 foot. And you're also 102 kilos.
Blair Kinghorn.
Incorrect.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Kinghorn's like 6'5".
Yeah.
Number two, I was born in Manchester and I have represented the British and Irish Lions once back in 2021.
Hamish Watson.
Fucking hell, yeah, you've only done it. Yeah, Hamish Watson, well done. Fuck's sake, I thought it'd be a lot easier, a lot more difficult than that. Clue number 3, playing for the same club since 2011, making 159 appearances and scoring 20 tries. Number 4 was voted Six Nations Player of the Year in 2021. And number 5 was I Am Scottish. So there we go, Hamish Watson. That's 4 points for you this week. Fair play, Andy.
Player. I didn't realise he was 33. That's he's
getting
old.
on. He's getting on, honestly. So if I count 17 plus 4, that's 21. Oh, you really have clawed it back a bit there. 24, 21 so far. We're getting there. Will we interrupt the camera, make an agreement? It's the first to 50 points. Agreed? Deal. Then we can reset and go again. Okay, excellent. Now that's out of the way. Quick and relax for another week. I'm still in the lead. Right, okay. Going on to what we just briefly discussed 5 minutes ago. Scotland fixtures. So they have got the 4 fixtures this year in the order of, I can't remember. I know that they've got Fiji on the 2nd. Would I be right in saying they've got Australia on the 9th, or is it South Africa on the 9th?
South Africa.
South Africa on the 9th, which is as crazy, go from Fiji to South Africa. Then they've got Portugal on the 16th, and then the end tour with Australia as well. So a kind of mixed bag of like abilities there, in my kind of opinion. Of course, you've got Fiji and Australia kind of in that bracket together that you think we would beat, but you never know on the day. Like they could turn up and do very well. You've got South Africa, who are the current world champions. I mean, we've got to put our strongest squad up there and see what we can do. And we've also got Portugal, which would be a good game. The one game I'm going to actually to kind of showcase maybe a younger, less experienced talent, and hopefully not get embarrassed by a tier 2 nation. Okay, Andy, what do you think?
I think it's going to be very tough for Scotland to beat Fiji, considering the main bulk of players, we think it's outside the international window. Edinburgh, not really performing all that great this season so far, out of form, in Glasgow. Whilst it has been a successful trip to South Africa for them, they are just coming back from South Africa right now as we speak. So that's going to be a tricky game. The South Africa game, likely lose, but you want it to be like not much in it kind of thing.
Yeah, you want to make it like competitive instead of just like absolute pace and being the whipping boys. Yeah, I get what you're meaning there. I mean, I'm a bit sceptical with it because like you're going from playing Fiji, who by the way, like I'll mention this point, they're also playing out of the international window, so they'll be without a lot of their massive players such as Vandrandra, Naiklevu, Tuisova, Botia, everybody, Matavesi, Maui. Well, actually, Maui might be playing. Basically, the players that don't play in Fiji or New Zealand, they'll be the ones that will be playing that on the 2nd of this weekend. The rest of them, like the ones playing France, like Vandrandra, like Tuisova, big players, big game players, they won't be. Naiklev, who plays for Sale, he won't be allowed to go. Matavesi, correct me if I'm wrong, he's still in England or went to France. A lot of players, same with Bortias in France. So, yeah, you're not going to get those superstars playing for them. You'll still get a good team, don't get me wrong. I mean, Fiji have just won the Pacific Nations Cup, which is a great achievement, back-to-back Pacific Nations Cups, showing the building. Once again, they do it most of the time without the big kind of world-class players, so it shows they've got that depth and that strength to go strength to strength and compete with the likes of Scotland without like a proper like world-class side. However, I just think it won't be enough if for Fiji, like they do at certain points, and they do kind of their skill level comes down the level when they've not got those players. Their confidence maybe they're coming across a long way, costs a lot of money, a lot of travel, and once again it's the first game for them. They do have that bit of sharpness from the alternation series, but at the same time, is it going to be enough? There has been that little bit of a layoff, and a lot of these players that will be playing, all of them come from either Edinburgh or Glasgow. They've all been playing 5-6 games already this season, so they'll be nice and sharp and ready to go.
No, I don't disagree with you.
What do you think about the lineups? I mean, obviously Fiji, we can't predict Fiji to be honest, because once again, you just don't know. Like, you might get a surprise, might get a couple of players released and able to play it. I highly doubt it, because I mean they seem to like to mistreat the Fijians sometimes, even though this is like written in their contracts. They've got to kind of submit to their contract in a way. But yeah, I just don't know what to kind of say about Fiji. They'll maybe have like, I would say a big bulk would be the Fijians who and kind of like lads, so like the Lamani, likes of Massey in the centre, Massey. Who's the other winger that absolutely tore it up in the? They've got Rovers now moved to Bristol, but there's a good lot of them. It's really annoying. I can't remember that winger's name, but we'll just kind of. Drasossi, he's a fullback. Actually, he's not a fullback. Anyway, so you get those players, so you will get a bit of talent. For Scotland, though, I think they'll go with what they know, and what they know will work. It's the first game. You don't want to kind of give too much away going to South Africa, because South Africa will analyse the game, but you also want to kind of maybe give some of the players that probably won't play the South Africa test, but are maybe too good to play the Portugal game. Probably want to give them a good quality kind of bit of game time, and also probably for the Australia game at the end. So I think you've got your team written down that you think will start. I've got my team written down that I think will start for the Fiji game. So yeah, let's go. We'll start from the front row and work our way back, shall we? Who have you went with? Lucy, Hooker, and Tighthead.
So, loose, I have went with Schoeman. Hooker, my favourite, and Ewan Ashman. And Tighthead, Xander Fagerson.
Fair enough. I've went slightly different. I mean, two to be the same, but I've got Rory Sutherland in there. Then I've got Ashman and Fagerson. Still a solid enough scrum. The Fijian scrum will be nice and strong. Ashman's probably our best hooker just now. I mean, George Turner isn't available anymore.
It's been selected for the tour, the tour, the series.
Say again?
He's for Scotland. Yeah, he's the best hooker. Part of Scotland.
Oh yeah, I see where you're getting it now. Yeah, he's the best selected hooker. Yeah, well of course. You know what? Let's address the elephant in the room here. Where on earth is
Johnny Matthews?
Johnny Matthews? Yeah. I don't know what he's got to do to get in the team. I mean, he was last season's top try scorer in the URC. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Coming from hooker, that's quite incredible. He's probably got the pace of back row. You seen he was in the World Cup squad, and he played fantastic in the World Cup. The slim chances that he got, I think by far one of the best front row, the best hooker in the league last year. I feel the best hooker in the country. We both feel or both are very strong on, and yeah, I just don't know what he's actually got to do. I mean, Townsend did come out and gave a bit of a wishy-washy kind of reply. He kind of answered it, kind of didn't, to why he wasn't in the squad. But from my kind of point of view, I think Townsend just doesn't like. I mean, he's 30 years old. I just don't think he likes his age. I mean, sometimes it's an ego thing. Like he's never thought to call up Matthews before, really, for like apart from World Cup squad. So I think it's maybe an egotistical thing as well from Townsend. What do you think?
I don't know what the fuck it is that Johnny Matthews has done wrong, but Townsend just does not get on with them. I mean, you look at the likes of Dave Cherry. Dave Cherry has been there, gotten his opportunities from Townsend, but I think during the World Cup, I think he'd maybe won too many bevies, and I think since then it's been like, can I trust you? And would rather give other guys a go. So that's his reason. But I've not heard any rumours, no stories, nothing about Johnny Matthews. I mean, somebody put on Twitter, I think Johnny Matthews has to stop riding Mrs. Townsend and he might get a game for Scotland. Nobody knows what is going on. It's scandalous at how he's not even in the squad.
You know, something. See, if he was in the Scotland squad, I generally think he would be in contention for the Lions next year, 2025. And I'm being like dead serious. Like, look at my face. Like, I'm not honestly not trying to like take the piss here, because he's the best in Scotland, and I'm sorry. Like, you've got to take 3 hookers on the tour. You probably take an Irish and English, and a toss up between a Scottish and an Irish guy, and not a second Irish guy. It's good. Johnny Matthews could have been there, and that's incredible. Being a Scotsman, it's a privilege enough getting selected for the Lions, because they never fucking are. But yeah, so I don't know what he's going to do, but I think it's maybe a bit of a dead duck now asking for Johnny Matthews to be selected. I've got the Scotland squad up on my laptop, and it's on the Facebook post, and literally every single comment is like, "Oh, where's Johnny Matthews?" A couple of nice ones, blah blah blah, but the majority of them are like, "Why is Johnny Matthews not in the squad?" So I think there's a lot of questions to be answered. Going back to the age thing, I just looked up Dave Cherry's age. Dave Cherry was playing up until, was it the World Cup? He was playing up until the World Cup, and he would have been 32. So you can't really blame age in that aspect, because Dave Cherry was starting a lot of the games as well.
No, but as I said, it was the discipline that kind of more let down Dave Cherry, because he was sent home from the World Cup camp.
Yes, I know what you're saying, but what I mean is Matthews is 30.
Yeah.
Cherry was 32. So they can't really use that as a viable excuse, really. Especially when you're running about like you're a 25-year-old. Like, I mean, he's just so physically fit. Anyway, let's move on. We've got the second row. I think the kind of second row speaks for itself. No surprises here. I think they'll go Cummins and Gilchrist.
Yeah, I went with that as well. Surprised neither of the Gray brothers were in. I mean, Richie Gray obviously is going for his big money move to Japan, but
Is it still a great from Townsend? I thought there'd be a nice little send off for Richie Gray, but at the same time, it's a performance business. Maybe want to look for the future, set for the future. Then I've got a couple of young guys in there, like Gregor Brown. I think Gregor Brown will play second / back row. He can't slide in there. I think he maybe will. He played in the summer tour to the North and South America. Did very well. Took his opportunity. Of course, he's a local lad. Yeah, but for us, he's from Aberdeen. Played for Aberdeen. Robert Gordon's, and I believe it was Gordonians, my bad, it was Gordonians he played for. So yeah, it's good to see him in there. I'm very bitter that you see somebody so high up in Scotland getting picked, or even a Scottish person, full stop. But yeah, I think it'll be Cummins and Gilchrist starting, but I think we'll see a bit of Gregor Brown in this game as well. Back row, I've went with a solid one. There's maybe one, not surprised, but maybe somebody, not everybody's choice. It's not like the popular choice, but I think it's somebody who just gets the job done. I've went with number 6, Crosby, went number 7, Darge, and number 8, Dempsey. The reason why I've went with that is, I mean, you could have put Mark Fagerson, but I generally think Mark Fagerson plays better coming off the bench. Like, for Scotland anyway, I think he plays better coming off the bench, especially when you've got Dempsey at 8. You can let Dempsey just absolutely run by it for 60 minutes, take Fagerson on. It's not a bad replacement, is it? Like, I mean, once again, Fagerson would have been somebody a few years ago, like last year, in contention for the Lions, and now he's not even getting a start for Scotland sometimes because of the absolutely incredible back row they've got. Darge, once again, speaks for itself, the best 7 in the country, not going to replace him. The amount of tackles he goes through, like I said last week, he's either first or second in the league for most tackles. in the URC. And then Crosby, just think he just like gets about his work, gets the job done. You don't see much of him, but sometimes that's a really good sign as a flanker. It's when you don't see what a flanker going about the pitch. It means they're doing all the dirty work in the rucks, in the scrums, the little dark arts here and there. So yeah, that's my back row.
Fair enough. I also went with Darge and Dempsey, but I went with Ferguson at 6.
Okay.
Mainly just because of form. I mean, there's no doubt in Crosby's talent, but for me, he's been part of this Edinburgh side that have really just struggled for form this season.
Fair. The one thing I'll say about Ferguson is he's one of those. It's like he's very similar to Dempsey. Is the pack a punch.
Yeah,
Like the big, powerful lads. The pack a punch. I feel Crosby's more like a. He's more like a Jamie Ritchie kind of player, like where he just gets about his work. He's not absolutely massive. He does the carries. He does the turnovers. Like I say, you'll get to the rucks, secure the rucks, but he won't be like a primary kind of like ball carrier because he's not like the biggest of the lads. Whereas Dempsey and Ferguson are because they will make serious meters in contact. Depends what kind of game you want to play against the Fijians. Do you want to fight fire with fire, or do you want maybe just like be a bit more technical with it? But I've went Crosby anyway. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Ferguson is starting. Like I'm just put out there just now. Okay, do you want to start off with the backs?
can do. So at half-backs, I have gone for George Horn at 9 and Adam Hastings at 10.
Okay. I mean, I think once again it kind of speaks for itself, but if you want to explain yourself, then by all means.
Well, this is going to be a left field comment. George Horn for me right now should be the number 1 pick at scrum half for Scotland.
Okay. I would disagree, but for this week, I would agree. Like, for sure.
Yeah, by far. Well, I just think, from now on, he should be the first pick. And then.
What, over Ben White?
Yeah. George Horn has proved in the last couple of years he's been knocking on the door for Scotland. And with the form of Glasgow winning the URC and with how he's played in the last month, I'm like, yeah, why not? I noticed a real difference to Glasgow when he came off against the Sharks a week past Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair point. You know what, actually, like on reflection, it's quite a valid comment and quite a reasonable comment for you to say, to be honest. I know it didn't happen a lot, but it's sorry, man. But it's he's played very well, but he's always been knocking on the door for that starting spot, that starting jersey. Even when everybody was like, "Oh, Price, what the fuck's he doing? Why is Price doing it?" I have a funny feeling Price is going to start the game, so I've actually got Price at 9. I really, really hope he doesn't. But I've just got a funny feeling that Townsend's going to do that. It's just something Townsend would do, just to be absolutely.
He just loves Ali Price. I just don't get it. Price has been finished since the COVID season. 2021, no fans in the stadium.
Yeah, he played very well, and he was on the Lions tour, played very well, but since then he's just been shit. Horn, the opposite, he's just gotten better and better and better, and he's still in his 20s. He's still young. Like he's still got more to go, more to give. But we'll see. Like I mean, I think if Horn doesn't start, I don't know. It's a hard one because you want that kind of electricity and fizz for just as a 9 anyway. But I think maybe they'll go conservative with Price, and yeah. But I think Hastings at 10, 100%. The only one thing I would say is with Hastings at 10, you might actually want Horn because of the Glasgow kind of partnership there.
Well, not just that, but for me, George Horn is such a. I'm going to sound like I'm sucking him off or whatever, but I'm not. He's such a Swiss Army knife of a player. He's got so many tricks and everything that he can do, and he ran down the blind side, I think it was 3 weeks ago, against whoever it was Glasgow were playing, off a scrum, and how many metres did he make up? And it's just stuff like that. I think he reads the game so well.
Do you want to know who he reminds me of? And don't just give me faces and that. Like I'm not saying he's anywhere near the level of this player, but he actually reminds me of how Dupont plays.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? Even attribute wise, like physicality wise, are very similar. But just he's going down the wing, nipping down the wing. They can both kick. Horn's a very good kicker as well. Good sniping runs, scoring tries for fun. they are quite similar in a certain way. I'm not saying they're completely like the same player. I mean, the point is leaps and bounds above any 9 in the world just now.
He's
But
also a lot bigger than any other 9.
he is bigger. Yeah, you're right. But I just feel like there's certain elements of the game that Horn is really implementing in, which reminds me of like the way DuPont plays quite a lot. But yeah, definitely a great asset. And with Hastings at 10, I actually quite like Hastings now he's back in Glasgow. Don't think he did too well for Glasgow. He did alright for Gloucester, but didn't set the world alight. And I just think he's better in Glasgow. And he's definitely a good backup for Russell. And he's played Fiji before, and he's pocketed Fiji before as well. So I think he's got the maturity and confidence to do it again. In the centres, I've went with S1E10 Pelotu and a bit of an what's the word I'm trying to look for? Out of the not ordinary but slightly different one would be Stafford McDowell. I've got him at 13.
Okay.
So basically, because of his form at Glasgow, and I don't think they're going to want to risk injury to Tuipulotu or Hugh Jones. Hugh Jones in particular, playing a full game come the South Africa game. I think he'll be very, very important come the South Africa game the week after. So I think that they'll maybe have McDowell started, get him a good run out, maybe even slide McDowell to 12 and take Jones on at 13. You just don't know. You just don't know what they're going to do, honestly. The first game is always just a bit of a bit of a lottery. You just never know what's going to happen. So I've went with S1E10 Pelotu as captain, of course, new captain for Scotland. Well deserved. I have reflected on it. To start with, I wasn't sure, but yeah, now I just think he is probably like the right choice in all areas. He's our best player. I mean, I think Russell's a better like Marvick and that, but I think Tuipulotu overall is the better player, like in all kind of aspects of the game. Then McDowell, I think, just like I said before, McDowell's just playing out his skin. Like I mean, he's really constructing that Glasgow side at 13 very well. I assume you've went for somebody else in the centre, maybe Jones or someone.
I did. There's no looking past Hugh Pelotu.
Fair enough.
Unless there's any injury niggles or any concerns with Hugh Jones, they'll want to put him in there. It's the best Northern Hemisphere partnership at the minute. So enough said.
I just don't know because I mean, it always comes back to like mind always comes back to like Fiji won't have that strong a squad because of it's not international, like it's out with the international window. So I just feel like you've not got that danger of like Randrandra running down the channel. You'll have somebody, but it won't be as like that big physical presence and that kind of world class stature. So I just feel like it might be a little bit more not laid back, but give McDowell the minutes, get the minutes in the legs, and yeah, I don't know, but I'm not. Once again, you can't argue with Hugh Pelotu because it works and it works wonders, and they are one of the best centre partnerships in the world, if not the best in the Northern Hemisphere. Back three.
Back three, I went for Van der Merwe on one wing, pretty much just based off of reputation. Kyle Rowe on the other wing because of his recent form, and Harry Patterson at 15 because there's nobody else. He's good. That came across like, oh yeah, he's not very good, but no, he's good. But I mean, as soon as Kinghorn comes in, Kinghorn will be starting against Springboks, not Patterson.
100%, 100%. I think you've got a spot on there. Duhan, Rowe, and Patterson. Is Kyle Stein? Is he available this week?
He is injured for the series.
I see. I must have missed that. Oh yeah, I see where I went wrong. I've seen Kyle, and then it's Kyle Rowe that I've seen. Here we go. That's a big blow because I think he would have probably started this game. Being honest,
I'd argue that Kyle Stein is Scotland's best winger at the minute. Obviously, he's injured, but when he's playing and fit, he's the best winger.
He's most consistent, which means if you're the most consistent player in a good way, you're probably the best player. Like, because I mean, Duhan will play world class for a game or two, a couple of games, but then you'll be nowhere for like 1 or 2 games after that. That's not like that. Inconsistency doesn't win you like championships. Consistency does. It's like I'm not actually no. I was about to use Owen Farrell. He is a great example of consistency and not like complete world class. But it's like It's true though. But Stein, he's so consistent with anything he does. Really good with the high ball. He'll attack, he'll carry, he'll make his tackles. Very little errors at the worst of times. At the best of times, he's faultless. And yeah, he just gets the job done and does his job absolutely like spot on without any complaints. Whereas Duhan sometimes gets a bit unstuck, gets himself into trouble on that. But yeah, so I think you're right. But massive blow. I've went with Duhan just for that balking. I mean, he's your best pick just now. I've went also Kyle Rowe in the wing, but Patterson at 15. In an ideal world, you'd maybe have Darcy Graham in the wing, and then Rowe move into fullback and Patterson possibly on the bench. But I think it'll be Kyle Rowe 14 and Patterson 15. Will we go to the bench?
Can do.
So I've got a front row of Richardson, the young lad that plays for Sale Sharks. He's actually like former South African, compared to Scotland. Played very well in the summer tour, and I think he deserves a shot. And also because of no Johnny Matthews, I think you're kind of scraping the barrel with our like quality hookers to come off the bench. So I think it'll be Richardson. Then I've went with Scoobin on the bench with Elliot Miller-Mills as like his bench prop partner. So with Sutherland, Ferguson starting. I know you've went with Scoobin starting, but I've went with Scoobin and Miller-Mills on the bench. Once again, with that tight head, you're not really spoiled for choice. Miller-Mills is getting better and better, but he's still not like the ideal situation for being on the bench for Scotland, coming on against a big pack like Fiji. But he'll do the job, I'm sure. He has shown these glimpses of hope, and let's just hope he performs. Who's your front row replacements?
Front row replacements, well, I put in Jamie Batty because I'm kind of on the fence with this one because Schoeman hasn't been, he's kind of the go-to guy, but I would say he's not been as good as what he can be, whereas Jamie Batty, whenever he's gotten an opportunity for Glasgow, has been taking it. I know you put in Rory Sutherland. I think he struggled at the weekend, but that may be just the first time he's gotten a game in quite a while. He's on the bench for me as well, and then Miller-Mills there as well.
For me, I'm thinking of scrums first and foremost. I'm not saying Barty's a bad scrummager whatsoever, but I'm just thinking if you're pure scrums, who you going to go to if you depended on it? And I think probably Sutherland or Scooming at loose head. I just think for the game time, you don't want Scooming injured. Scooming's the best scrummager, but you don't want him injured or risk injury against South Africa. So you probably just give him maybe a 20-25 minutes once the game's won, and then you take Sutherland off. I went with obviously Richardson and Miller-Mills, yeah. So it's a tough one. Barty might get his chance, he might not. You just never know. Once again, you don't know what's going to happen. For the I went with a 5-3 split on the bench. I don't know if you went for a 6-2, but I went with a 5-3. Yeah, for this game.
Yeah.
Might want to show the expansiveness. So my last two backs, I went with Gregor Brown. He's quite with his versatility, can play second and back row, but I dare say he'll be in the second row. And also went with Matt Ferguson, because of course I went with Crosby starting. What about yourself?
I also went with Gregor Brown, and I also put in Jamie Ritchie and Luke Crosby.
Okay, so Ritchie and Crosby, yeah, I can't fault that. Going with a bit of bulk and a bit of experience coming off that bench. What about for your last two? Well, I've got three backs. So what were your last two? I'll let you go first.
I went with Stafford McDowell because he's armed it through his performances for Glasgow, and then Darcy Graham because although he hasn't been playing his best rugby at the minute, he does have that spark to ignite a game, like against Fiji. So
fair enough. I went with Jamie Dobby on the bench. I think he's got potential to come on. Also, he can play wing if need be. He did that in summer.
Yeah.
Albeit against lower tier nations, but maybe he needs that step up to see if he can do it. So it's a good bit of versatility there. 22, I've went Tom Jordan. He'll be hopefully making his debut at some point in this Autumn Nation series. The former All Black, well not All Black, but from New Zealand, come over, played here for 3-4 years for Glasgow Warriors. Really, really good player. I've been waiting for this guy for a long time to be playing for Scotland because I think he's special. He can play at 10, he can play at 12. I'm excited. Let's see what happens. And then at 23, I've actually went with Mosese Tuipulotu, Sione's brother. I think he might get a run out. So my thinking is, yeah, Jordan will come in at 10, and then Tuipulotu will maybe come in for McDowell or his brother Sione. And McDowell will move on into 12 if that happens, and you've got Dobby coming on for Horner, Price, or probably Horner, let's be honest. So that's my thinking. Kind of covering like some of the bigger players, not with them injured for the big test next week. It does depend how you think of it, because it might be times it might go across and think, I'm just going to play a team that is going to be kind of in the middle. You're not going to absolutely dominate them, but it's not going to be a tight game. You're going to do the job comfortably. But you might think of it like, I've got to prepare these boys, likes of Tuipulotu, likes of Darge, likes of like the regular starters that are available that are actually playing in Scotland, like in the URC. You might think, I want these guys playing against Fiji, get the minutes in, and get ready for South Africa, the big one. I'm not going to lie, the schedule doesn't really suit progression for the Autumn Nation Series. I would much rather have Portugal, then South Africa, then I'd have Fiji, South Africa, Portugal, and then Australia. I just think it's a bit of a mess, the schedule, because it doesn't mean like you can progressively funnel like the experienced players into the squad and like progressively give young boys game time in the early stages. I just don't think it allows for that whatsoever. It goes like moderate game, really difficult game, relatively easy game, moderate game again, and it's not like it's a constant kind of like increase in like ability and level. I don't think it works for Scotland what they're going to try and do. Yeah. What do you think? Because I'm not convinced.
I do agree with you, and I think that Australia, although I'm immediately thinking, oh yeah, it'd be easy, they were terrible in the Rugby Championship. Under Joe Schmidt, you would be minded to think that Australia would be this type of team that would start off about here, and although they may not win or play all that convincingly through the scoreline, you would think that they'd progressively get just ever so better week on week with the more amount of games that they'll be playing. And certainly I think the Autumn Nation Series is a great way for them to try and build off of what was really, not all that great a tournament in the Rugby Championship.
Yeah, 100%. It wasn't great for them. They want to bounce back, and I think they'll use this opportunity. I mean, they're playing like they're taking an A squad as well, but obviously Scotland will be playing like the main squad. They've signed this young superstar. I can't remember his name. Apologies for that, but that gives him a bit of hope. He's hopefully going to be coming on the tour. Does give you a bit of hope. I don't know how to take Australia because they've got the potential there, and I mean, the fact they're coming over, they've not got any easy games. This actually might be their easiest game against us. Being brutally honest. So,
well, they are playing England.
You know something? I think I know we're on about Scotland, but I think England will beat All Blacks on Saturday.
Oh wow!
I'm being deadly serious because they'll have all their players.
Fair enough.
I'm being serious. Like I think they'll beat them. I just don't think All Blacks are all that convincing just now, especially after the Japan game. But we'll touch on that at a later point, hopefully before the games this weekend. But yeah, I think this will be Australia's kind of game that they really, really target. Like they'll target every game, obviously, but they'll really, really target this Scotland game because I think they know if they can unlock, especially if Scotland are starting to wear and tear a bit, maybe some injuries come into play, playing less experienced players that haven't gotten the game time because of the shit schedule we've got, might be able to unlock the Scottish defence and get some points on the board and also keep us out. So yeah, that's my thinking. But I'm a bit iffy about the Australia game at the end. Fiji game, I'm not too worried about. I think we'll see past them relatively easy. Once again, just based off like Fiji not having their superstars available as it stands. South Africa game will be a big one. I think we'll lose. I think we'll maybe lose by 15 points. And then for the Portugal one, I think the one I'm going to, I think we'll play a second string team, and I think we'll win that one pretty comfortably. But I could be wrong.
Losing to South Africa by 15 points would be a disaster for Townsend.
It will be, but I mean, will it be a blessing? I mean, that's a bit toxic, wishing us to lose, but will it be a blessing?
I got to be honest, I mean, they've came out, and this is alluding to our Gregor Townsend discussion. Nice little segue that.
Yeah.
Anything other than, I would say, within 5 points as a loss is a disaster for Townsend, and it sets no precedent for winning next season's Six Nations or next year's even. I mean, yeah.
You know what? Like, you see, for me, like I see every single year when like November tests come around. It's always like all these young new guys coming in. Let's get them in. Let's feed them in. Blah 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 for the Six Nations. But it seems to be a whole new cycle again next year. They never seem to like stick with the same guys. I just don't think he knows exactly what he wants. Like, I mean, after how many years? 2017. What's that? Fuck us, like 5-6 years more. It's like, what does he actually want? Like, let's be honest, he's progressed us very slightly compared to what we were. Like, we are playing better rugby, but at the same time, what have we actually done apart from just constantly beat England in the Six Nations? In the Autumn Nation series, we'll win 2, we'll lose 2, we're lucky to win 3, then we'll lose 1. We never win all 4. Six Nations, we can never get a triple crown, we can never finish top 2. I'm always content with third. I'm sorry, it's for Townsend. Like we say it every year, but honestly, it's now or never for Townsend. He's got to really target it. Like I said, I don't know how much of a pull he's got with these like fixture schedules, but they're ridiculous, and it's not doing him any favours whatsoever, in my opinion. Just going from Fiji when you've not got Russell, you've not got Kinghorn, you've not got Ben White, you've not got. I don't think Bayliss will start, but you've not got like Lex and Bayliss, you've not got Redpath, you've not got all those players that played in England.
I think Redpath's injured.
Is he? Fucking hell. Again, how many times? I'm sorry, but he's been injured more than he's been active playing in his professional senior career, which is a joke because he's only like 22, 23. But back to the point, it's like you're not going to have those players and they're going to jump them straight into the South Africa game. It doesn't make sense to me. I just don't know what's going on. But as for Townsend, yeah, I mean, he's really, really stubborn. I touch on your point, like when he's dropped Johnny Matthews. What has he done? Has he shagged Townsend's wife? Probably. He must have done something like that to like not be in the squad. It's actually like, what the fuck? Same with, but I look at the same with Horn. Horn like has been in and out of the squad for how many years now? It's like, what's he got? Just pick somebody and stick with it. Stick with it. You know how they play. Go with Horn. Go with Russell. They're your main guys. You stick with them. Even if there's like players in form, you still stick with them unless there's players come out their skin. Show some consistency. There's too many changes to the Scotland squads, in my opinion, throughout like the Six Nations and then the Autumn Nation series as well. Yeah, okay, get some young talent in if they deserve it, but don't leave out like Sir Johnny Matthews just because of age or whatever reason, and then have very little depth in the hooker department. What if Ashman gets injured? You've got Richardson playing for against South Africa. I'm sorry. I know he plays for Sale, but he's be well at his depth if he plays against South Africa. If Ashman gets injured.
And that's why, folks, that this week's episode is titled Zav's Rant on Townsend.
I fucking hate that. I don't hate Townsend, but it's just like, why? You know what, actually? I met Gregor Townsend, and it was at a Scotland kind of thing. It was in Moorfield, a live training session. Trying to get an autograph, and he shunned me away, and I was like, what the fuck? What an absolute rude old man he is. And if all the players were nice, all the players were
I don't know. I don't think he's that rude. I think he just didn't turn to you because you're from the Broch. I think that's just looked in his nose. Just, no, I see you.
Yeah.
On a more serious note, though, I mean, up until we started doing this podcast, and obviously we speak to each other quite a lot about Townsend on and off the camera, and I was always like, you know what, just one more attempt for Townsend, and I was just kind of thinking, we'll see how the Autumn Nation series goes, but ultimately he has to set a good precedent for next year's Six Nations, and if he doesn't win next year's Six Nations, he's got to go, because for how much money they're paying him, £400,000 or £500,000 a year. I'm sorry, there's so much. I mean, Joe Schmidt will be away like in a year's time. That's an automatic. I mean, that's Australia he's with just now, but that's a top-class coach. There's plenty out there. And the way in which the SRU handled Townsend coming in, but this is all by the by. I'm just trying to say I'm not half as cynical as what Zav is on Gregor Townsend. But
well, I'll tell you something though. It's a performance-based business. He'll be trembling in his bloody. He will be nervous because Franco Smith obviously just won the URC.
Yep.
Look how Glasgow are going this year again. They're third or second just now, not
second
far
in the league.
Second in the league down there. They're not far behind. They could more than easily do it again. I feel it's very hard, but the way it's going, like they are playing some good rugby. It's not perfect, but they're playing some very good rugby, and it's all masterminded by him and his control of the squad. Townsend better watch out, because if he doesn't succeed, then I think Franco Smith, if he keeps succeeding, then I think he will be the heir to the throne, which I'd love to see, actually, being honest. I don't think we need to being like, oh, we need a Scottish coach or that. It doesn't work.
Well, I mean,
nothing's ever really worked, to be honest, since the 90s. But you get my point. It's
I do, yeah. I mean, for me, Townsend just needs to start winning games against teams he never beats. He's never beaten Ireland, never beaten the All Blacks. I don't think he's ever beaten the Springboks. So
never beaten the Springboks. No, it's been a long time since Scotland did that. So that's it. But need to kind of break these ducks, and that's progression. That is literal progression. But never mind. We'll see how it unfolds. But I just don't see.
If we don't win the Six Nations next year, we shouldn't sack Townsend. He should walk.
But he's not going to do that when he's on that much money, is he?
I know, but he's going to have friends who's going to judge him, and everybody's going to be talking about him, and he's going to have self-respect. And if nobody's going to be speaking nice to him, he should do the honourable thing and quit, and then everybody will be happy, and then he'll be.
He should with the pressure. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that, because I mean it would be shit for him. But at the same time, performance-based business, he could maybe mutually agree to leave, and you would get a little pay packet, for leaving. But I think
I don't think the SRU can afford that. They're about 10 million in the red, mainly because they put money into the women's game. I'm not saying that they should cut any funding at all to the women's game. I'm just purely stating a fact.
I'm glad you clarified that. I think it would be podcast cancelled.
No, I think it's a good thing what they're doing with the women's game, but Townsend is not the only one, I think, either. There are a few others, but certainly Townsend, 400k a year, what a waste of money.
If you've got to do that, at least get a world-class coach, and that's proven. That's what I think, anyway. Well, maybe so on Monday nights, ending a more positive note, maybe we should stop speaking about Townsend, because he really does start to piss you off after a while.
Yeah, we gathered that, Zav. Everybody gathered that.
Maybe give him the benefit of the doubt, though, because you never know. Like, you have got 4 games to turn it around. So, yeah. I'm happy to leave it at that.
Anyway, folks, thank you for tuning in to this week's Off the Cuff podcast. We didn't expect it to be 50 minutes long, but, well, Zav just got excited speaking about Townsend. He loves him. Loves speaking about him. So be sure to check out all the links in the description and check us out on all the relevant social media channels. Be sure to comment. Give us your opinion on Gregor Townsend and any other games you think we should keep a close eye on in the Autumn Nation series. Sav, have you anything else to add?
Hashtag Townsend out.
Hashtag Townsend out. Well, here. Anyway, we'll see you next weekend.
See you later, guys.